Hello and welcome to ABW Radio. What are we going to do? It's a sad old time. Oh well, here to share these moments of anger, despair, disappointment, and that's just talking about Chris's hair, is Jason. All right, Jace?
All right, son.
Oh, Kris, nice of you to join us for once. How's your PMT? Did you manage to get over it? Did you die? That was the most important thing.
It's not called. It's not PMT, Danny. It's this little thing called work. You wouldn't know about it.
Schmirk.
Yeah.
Next thing you'll be telling me you're working 12 hours a day, 5.5 days a week.
Cool. Add the rest. Thank you very much. Try 50 odd hours a week.
I said 12 hours a day, not a week. Not
sorry.
Gimli. Oh, that'd be 12 hours a year, wouldn't it? Oh, dear, people. What an absolute fucking shit show that was. Just in case anybody didn't know, it was Crystal Palace 3, Arsenal 0. So I've kind of made, I'm just looking down my notes that I've made here. They stop at 71 minutes, straight after it went 3-0. So we'll start off as if things weren't too bad, and we'll go from there, and then we can slowly decline into the cesspit of shit that it is being an Arsenal fan at the moment. Right. So, Kris, what was your game summary? Was it good?
This is going to be a car crash, isn't it? No, Danny. No, it wasn't. It wasn't good. I mean, no, it was just very, very bad. Really, really bad. You know, I usually go against the fan opinion in that I think some people are overreactionary.
That's a hipster thing to do, isn't it?
Well, I like to be fair. I like to see both sides. I thought when the crowd or the camera panned to the crowd and you saw, I actually spotted our very own Mike of Goodness in USA in the crowd.
Yeah, he did some tweets of pictures. He was quite close to the front, wasn't he?
Yeah, I spotted him in his Xhaka shirt. He might as well have been on the pitch. He'd have played better than Xhaka. But no, I thought when they panned to the crowd and the supporters were singing "You're Not Fit to Wear the Shirt," I genuinely, I was sat in a meeting and I sort of in my head I did a round of applause because Jace will probably tell you in a minute, there were only really 2 players, I felt, maybe 3 at push, who had any sort of fight about them tonight, any sort of hunger, any sort of will, drive, desire, any of that. And you know, when you're an Arsenal fan, there are a lot of supporters out there that support our club that demand success. That isn't right. That isn't fair. And I don't think you have the right to demand success. What you do have the right to demand is a full, wholehearted performance, is a performance that justifies the fact that you wear a shirt for one of the biggest clubs, not just in the country, in the world. One of the classiest clubs, one of the most professional clubs around. And when you turn up like that and you play against a side who, you know, let's be honest, they're a good side, decent home crowd, that's it. You know, that is it. And there's no entitlement. You know, teams lose. Look at Chelsea, lost to Palace at home a few weeks ago, but they battered Palace second half. We, when, you know, 2-0 down, gave up. Absolutely gave up. And the whole thing, I know we'll obviously come on to the manager. The whole thing was just appalling. And there's no excuses anymore, Danny. There's no excuses, not from the manager, not from the players.
You say there is no excuses, but will there be excuses?
I don't give. I try and be polite. I try and keep it in tonight.
It's not often you get angry, is it?
I'm so angry. I've knocked my headset off. I'm just. I don't even know what I am, Danny. I don't even know what I am. You know,
we've wondered that for years.
I come on here and I try and support the manager.
Which you do, even times when you know that you could just go along with the flow and not support the manager. You've always dig out a positive.
Absolutely. And no matter what happens, I will always find something positive. You know, tonight, other than seeing Jason's beautiful face in HD, I don't know what positives there are. It's pathetic, Danny. It is pathetic, and it's not acceptable. You know, it is not acceptable when you are representing the club like these players are. It is not acceptable. Please talk to Jace, because I'm trying to formulate my words.
Jace, it's been a highly emotional week for you. I don't know if people realise, but Jason was like a kid at Christmas midweek when he found out Sonogo scored a hat-trick for the under-23s, I think, or maybe that was a vicious rumour. And now he's twiddled his knob and we can see him in glorious HD. And Jace, you were saying how happy you were that Crystal Palace. No, you weren't. You were fucking furious, weren't you? You went full Welsh Justice on us. You might be muted.
Oh yeah, I was.
That's probably that was probably the gods making you muted. You've done us all a favour. Go on, let it out.
You know, look, there's 4 words to describe that performance tonight. Okay, big bag of wank. Okay, how anybody can look at that? You know, you're looking at guys in Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez who think they're worth 300 grand a week. Well, I'll tell you one thing: Mesut Ozil summed up the performance tonight. He was fucking gutless again. Gutless. Okay, he may be a top quality footballer. Okay, when he wants to be, but you know you have to make a bit more of an effort than that. He was shameful tonight. When they started singing, you know, you're not fit to wear the shirt, I thought they were being kind. I thought they were being just kind. You know, it boils down to the fact that Arsene Wenger's time has come. You know, it's just done. Right? You know, you can't keep on putting teams out who perform like that. These are players, if their country will perform at a higher level. Okay, you know, we said at the beginning, shit, it's Groundhog Day in saying this. But we said it's transfer window before summer before last. You know, when you just buy Peter Cech in a transfer window, Teta and Rositzky, something's wrong somewhere. Somewhere in your mind there must be some, you know, it's incompetence. Right? Now we've added to the squad in the summer, but we do not seem to be playing to our players' strengths. And it showed in the performance tonight. They weren't playing for anybody tonight. They weren't even playing for pride. It's, you know, you know, these are not bad. These are good footballers, I'm sure, other than Cochran and Gabriel, because they're shit. They're just fucking rubbish. I'm sorry, they're just fucking poor players. Okay, but you know, these guys, you got World Cup winners on the pitch. But we can't even set up Danny Welbeck. You know they're going to drop deep. You know Crystal Palace are going to drop deep, okay? And you know they're going to hit this on the break with the pace of Townsend, Benteke, and Zaha. And yet we're playing fucking Danny Welbeck up front.
300 consecutive Premier League minutes without a goal.
Yeah, but it's pointless. You know, he's not tall. He's not good enough in the air. He's somebody who, you know, who uses his pace. Well, there's no room for him to work in. I'm sorry, okay, but the bottom line is, tactically, Big Sam has spanked him tonight, and you know, these players, you know, gutless bunch of cunts. They're a gutless bunch of fucking cunts.
There it is.
But where do we? I mean, I've just made a few notes. But there's no point in going through it. We all know what happened. I mean, at one point for the first 15 minutes of the game, we were stunning. 71% possession. Özil would.
Oh no!
Dan, we ended the game with 72% possession.
Yeah, but my point is, as we started the game, we started it off well. Everybody was attacking. Everybody was working. Everybody was covering each other. And Özil was even covering on the left-hand side. And I thought, here we go. That the win against West Ham has put us back, given a bit of confidence to the team. They're playing for the fans, and they're going to be playing well.
Then we conceded and unfolded. You know, if you play at the basic, Jace will tell you this. You play any sport at the basic level of whatever level you play, whether it's Sunday League football, Saturday League rugby, afternoon round of golf. If you concede to the opposition a goal, a try, whatever it is, and what concession of one goal, which, you know, my old granddad used to say, it takes a second to score a goal. You concede one goal, one try, one possession, whatever it is, and you basically give up. You basically say to the opposition, okay, you know what? We haven't got it in us to come back at this stage. Yeah. We haven't got the heart. We haven't got the fight. We haven't got the hunger. We haven't got the desire, and we're not going to go for it. We're going to sit back and we're just going to take it because we've given up on this game. So we'll have a look at Middlesbrough next week. Middlesbrough haven't scored goals all the season. You watch the fucker score 3 past us next week if we play like this again tonight, because they will. We sat there, we conceded that goal, and we basically said to Palace, right, well, we can't defend. We were lucky, Dan, tonight to not concede 6 or 7. That's not an exaggeration. That's genuine. The amount of times they got in behind us, they pulled us apart. Benteke and Zaha. Benteke, a player who isn't good enough for Liverpool, who barely gets into the Belgian side. Zaha, a player who's bombed out by Manchester United, who's, he's quick, he's got a few tricks, but, really? Wilfred Zaha. They got James MacArthur in their midfield. They got no offence, Jace, they got Wayne Hennessy in goal. We didn't test the fucker all game.
He made 2 good saves tonight.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, fair
2 good saves, right? But they've had 17 shots on target. We've had 17 shots. We've had 11. 6 on target, 3.
It's not good enough.
The bottom line is, if you look at the first goal, the way he sets up, we have not got anybody sitting screening the front 4. The back 4.
Walcott captain again. What was the point in that?
Well,
the unban means fuck all, doesn't it? Let's be honest. It stopped meaning something when Tony Adams took it off. Or Patrick Vieira.
In my notes here, I put 30th minute, Benteke v Gabriel, Benteke wins. 31st minute, Benteke v Mustafi, Benteke wins. And after 2 or 3 of those, I gave up putting it. Every single thing that Benteke was a 1-on-1 of any of our players. They either won the ball or we fouled them, and then we took the free kick. And then some of the free kicks, like there's one of them Ozil had, or somebody had that, and they just give it straight to the opposition. Our goal kicks were going straight to the opposition as well, more often than not.
But hold up here, Dan, okay? We can't even take a corner hitting the fucking first man.
Corners, I did that for the first half. 3 good, 1 okay, 1 bad. The 1 bad one hit their very first bloke on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Hold up. Some cunt's going to get fucking banned from this chat box now. Fucking cocksucker. Hey, Khalid, take care. Go fuck yourself.
Oh, dear.
Cocksucker.
Jeez, that's a lot. Don't fuck with Welsh Justice, people. Carl's there. It's a bit.
It won't end well.
And by the way, when I say that, I don't care what your sexuality is. I couldn't give a monkeys, but that guy's a fucking wanker. No, look, you're looking at that today, okay? The setup in midfield, we got nobody screening in the back 4 at any point. Okay, we've got the pace of Bellerin, Sanchez, Walcott. We don't use the counter attack when we got the opportunity. Okay, we never use it. What's the point? We cannot. These are simple things that we used to do so well.
I mean, Bellerin's still playing. It's been said that he's going to have an operation in the summer, and so we've been saying for the last couple of games that we think that he has got some kind of injury because he hasn't got the pace that he had, and he's not going in on the tackles like he used to. So if he's incapable of doing the job that he's there to do, why are we playing him? I would much rather have seen Gabriel come in at right back. At least he's going to be hard as nails, and someone like Holding. What's Holding thinking when he's not even getting a game? Unless I take it he's not injured. None of the sites are saying he's injured. But why isn't Holding getting a game? Why is Gabriel coming in ahead of him? Bellerin shouldn't even be on the pitch.
Hold a bit. Holding's had, a handful of games for us. Okay?
He's been impressive every time.
No, hold up, Dan. Look, the kid's still developing. Okay? Bellerin, to his credit, didn't give up. He was poor tonight, but he kept on going.
Yeah, but he's injured. I'm not saying his attitude. He's injured.
Yeah, but you put Rob Holding into that side tonight, Dan, and you destroy a young player.
Well,
I've seen fans on tonight. I've seen fans on Twitter tonight, and I watched the game on my phone when I was at a meeting. So albeit I'll have to watch it again in larger screen. But I flicked through Twitter, once or twice just to see what the reaction is. I saw people. I know how stupid of me. And I saw a lot of fans absolutely cunting off Emi Martinez. I'll tell you what, to quote Jason, go fuck yourselves. That kid is 3rd choice goalkeeper. He's made a mistake tonight. All right, fair enough. Does Andrex Townsend go down? Does Andrex Townsend go down too easily? Yes. Is it a dive? Of course it is. But he makes a decision. He doesn't get there. You can't put young.
In all fairness, Kris, Ramsey's lost the ball. Okay, which he shouldn't be losing the ball there. Right? Not done enough to come across. Townsend has just dived. He's just dived. Right?
He's given him a decision to make, though, only Joe. So that's the problem.
He has, okay, but in all fairness, that kid, what's that? Is his 6th Premiership game?
Yeah, he's had 3 clean sheets in the other 5.
And but for him, we'd have conceded another couple, by the way.
Yeah, he was very good.
Yeah. And let's be honest, and we've all seen Petr Cech this season. I mean, he's not been great. Ospina doesn't convince many. I mean,
Oh, look, in all fairness, okay, the goalkeeping position is endemic of the back 4, which is endemic of the midfield, not giving them any protection, okay? The simple fact of the matter is, okay, this team is set up to accommodate Mesut Ozil, who only plays when he fancies it, and that's not often enough. And it's pointless. Any sporting team nowadays, you set up your defence properly and you go from there. But let's be honest, okay? Right, there's another one going now. Ta-da. Let's be honest, okay? I could do this all day long.
Is he fucking people?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, fucking right I am. Arsene Wenger, this defence is a joke, and that's his responsibility. That's his responsibility.
They've just been showing on the telly. What do you think? Yeah, so the bit in the where they scored their first goal, and they just showed the ball coming over, and then I think it was Benteke jumped up, and it could have been taken as a foul on Gabriel, because he definitely pushed Gabriel. He barged on top of him, and then he pushed him down again when he was doing that. But that's not the point. That's not the point I'm coming to. The bit is that El Neni went running over that way. He didn't get the ball. Then he went running this way. He lost the ball again. Then he went running back that way, and he didn't get the ball again. And then when the ball did come across, he just stood there looking at the ball. Him and Bellerin just stood there. At least Xhaka made an attempt to try and stop the ball going in. He slid tackled in. I'm just watching it again. That is definitely a foul on Gabriel, because Gabriel's the defender, and Benteke's all over him.
It was a fair challenge. I wouldn't have a pop at them.
You're a rugby man. Everything's a fair challenge as far as you're concerned. He could have stabbed him and you'd have gone, that's fair challenge.
You made the point, Danny, about I mean, this is going to be all over the shop, this show, but you made the point earlier on, and you said that we started the game well. All right, we've already addressed that as soon as we lost a goal, for me, that was it. The game was done. From the minute we lost the first goal, unless we struck back quickly, that was it, right? We have all this possession. People have a go at me constantly because I dig out Pep Guardiola, right? And the reason I do is because I find what they do with a football incomprehensibly boring, because they just play it from side to side to side to side, backwards, forwards. And the guy basically, for me, is a massively overrated manager in that he does things to suit his own ego. I love Arsene Wenger, I do, but this is the big point. I love Arsene Wenger, and I do. If Arsene is so arrogant that, and he is arrogant, and I'm not stating anything that people don't know. He clearly is. It's one of his strengths, but also it's a big weakness. If he genuinely thinks that in 2017 you can go to Crystal Palace and just pass the ball from side to side to side to side to side, like Guardiola believes, you will not win games. And the trouble is, we don't just do it against Palace. We do it against Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Bournemouth. Just name every single team we've ever played for the last 15 years, and we constantly do the same thing time and time again. However, you rewind to the teams that, his best sides, and obviously I'll pick on the Invincibles. I will never forget that piece of commentary. We were away at Leeds, we won 4-1, and the commentator said, here comes the Arsenal sprint relay team again on the counter-attack. Yeah. Now, I've counter-attacked to work quicker than these fuckers play football on the counter-attack. I mean, seriously, it's so dull, and it's so bad to watch. Dom said it in our chat several times. He doesn't enjoy watching this anymore. I think we do have an identity. The problem is the identity we have is 2005. Well, but that used to be it's 12 years later.
We used to beat them possession football, grind them down, and then like we did against West Ham, it kind of worked then. We ground them down for the first half, and then come the second half, we outpassed them, and then we started scoring. But that's not always going to work.
Do you know when it works? It works when you go 1-0 in front, but you go a goal down, that's it, you're fucked.
Well,
Because then
especially
you've
with our
got
lot, as soon as we concede a goal, we just get the ump and go, well, we're not going to play anymore then.
But the thing is, Palace didn't sit back, did they? When they went 1-0 up, they didn't go, okay, we've got our goal, we'll sit back. They carried on attacking us, and we still didn't have an idea.
And they could have scored more. Jace?
Yeah, but they're so compact in defending, weren't they? They're so compact, and they know what's going to happen. As soon as they get the ball, they're looking for Zaha. Yeah, they're looking for Benteke. They're looking for things. You know, it's simple football, okay? It's simple football that works. We've got a guy at the tip of our attack in Welbeck who is just not built for that sort of game with the defence so compact. Okay, it's a game for Oli Giroud, dare I say it, right? But come on. He's just stood there. There's no movement. Our movement off the ball has been poor for a couple of years now when we don't want to play. And it's the same old story. This is Groundhog Day. You know, oh, somebody else is going. Yeah. Lioj, fuck off, you twat.
I only heard part of that. Did he skip for you as well?
Sorry. But look, you know, we don't try anything different. We do not, you know, we saw how ineffective Welbeck was in the weekend up top. Now, you've got to be arrogant to be a Premier League manager. You've got to be, okay? You've got to have self-belief. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't be looking at what we've seen over the past 10, 12 games and thinking it's working. You can't.
No.
What's going on in his mind? You know, it's the same old stories, the same old mistakes. I was defending for the second goal. It was like watching schoolboy football. Everybody's running one end, then they go into the other.
This got Theo Walcott on here at the moment. I'd like to know what he's saying, but a couple of people have put in the chat window that he didn't even realise Theo Walcott played. And I said to you two, I didn't even realise Theo Walcott was on the bench. I mean, on the pitch until they took him off. Poor bloke.
He just didn't go down that side.
Nothing went down the right-hand side. And that's what was maybe making me think that Wenger said to them, we're not going to go down the right-hand side too much because Bellerin isn't up to it. And we've got nobody else who can play it right back like that. Because it was ridiculous. What's the point in having those two on that side and everything going down the left-hand side? Monreal's good, but he's not as good an attacker as Bellerin is on his day. And
yeah,
Sanchez...
Bellerin has been poor, you know, attacking. Since after the first 10 games, our right-hand side hasn't been as effective as it should be with all our pace.
What Theo Walcott's just said is very interesting, by the way.
Go on.
What's he said?
Theo gets a lot of shit, but fair play to him. He's come out. He said they wanted it more. They were hungry more. And something that's very interesting that he just said was, this isn't Arsenal at the moment. We hoped we'd got past it in the West Ham game, but it looks like we've been dragged into it again, and only we can sort this out. I think that comment of this isn't Arsenal at the moment is very telling.
Go on, why?
There's an absolute lack of confidence, isn't there?
Because the players are not playing for the manager anymore, and it's the first time in a long time where, you know, I'll sit here quite happily, and well, not happily, it's completely the wrong word to use. Whether I or anyone else like it, I think the manager's lost the dressing room. I think he's lost the players. I think he's lost the support of many that, you know, that were behind him. And the worst part about this whole situation, and I know Jace feels the same way as I do on this, is that the longer that Arsene clings on, not to the job, because that's a whole nother story. The longer Arsene holds on to these paper thin excuses and holds on to this idea that he can change it by changing nothing, he's, you know, this is going to end. It's going to be so sad. It's going to be so sad, and it's really, really hard to come on shows like this. You know, I don't give a fuck who sees this. You see pricks like that DT who come on here and they shout their fucking mouth off. Uneducated wombats like him who just go on YouTube and just scream and shout because it suits their agenda, because they're peddling an agenda, because they're trying to get YouTube hits and clicks. I couldn't look that fuckwit in the eye now and say you're wrong. I couldn't. I could look him in the eye and say, you know, you're abusive and that's unfair. But some of the points that even people like him are making, you can't sit there now and say he hasn't got a point, because he has. You know, and all of them and all of those other characters, you know, apologies, I shouldn't really mention him by name, but, you know, you get my point. There are people here that love what's happening now because they are feeding on this and they're growing on this and they're loving the attention they're getting from it. But it's hard to look beyond some of them now. It's hard to look beyond it and say, you know what, you've got a right if you're paying your money. I would say don't pay your money, because until this changes, I wouldn't waste my money on it. I really wouldn't. But when people are paying their hard-earned money, and they are, some people are traveling from different countries to watch this. And Arsene has got to come out, and he's been interviewed now. I'll try and listen to what he says in a minute. I'd love him to come out and go, you know what, my players have let me down. I would love to hear him say that, but the problem is he won't. And the longer this goes on, and the worse this gets, the harder it is for any young fan to coming into this game to look back and go, that guy was a fucking genius. They're not going to think that. They're going to go, well, yeah, well, that's a senile bloke who just took them through the floor. And that makes me really sad, because he deserves to go out in the right way, and he deserves to go out at the very, very top, of this game. And unfortunately, at the moment, I can only see him going out 8th or 9th in the Premier League.
I'm listening to what Wenger's saying, by the way.
That's right, you carry on. Chase, what do you reckon? You're on mute, by the way.
Cheers, pal.
All right. Lots of editing for Danny later.
I was listening to Wenger as well.
That's all right.
You look at it, okay, and as you said, okay, it's the same old excuses. It's the same old problems just behind the scenes. We've seen the issues we've had in midfield, and yet we're still playing the same system. He did go to sort of a more 3-man midfield a few weeks ago. It seemed to work, but we go back to the same old story. I still love Arsene Wenger. I don't give a shit what anybody says, okay? But
he just said something quite interesting. He said, they said, what about your future? He said, I cannot go on forever after a game like that tonight. It's disappointing. And he says, we had a lot of possession. We couldn't handle Benteke. And they need to look at the situation.
Dan, he's run out of ideas. He's run out of ideas.
He ran out of ideas years ago.
No, hold up there. Everybody says that, okay, but the guy hasn't finished at the top 4, and I don't give a damn what anybody else says, okay. Finishing top 4 for 20 years is an impressive achievement,
Yeah.
But we've not progressed in the last 3 or 4 seasons. The bottom line is the FA Cup wins were nice, but we haven't challenged for the title in over 10 years. We haven't challenged.
And finishing second last season doesn't mean we challenged for the title. We didn't. We beat the champions home and away, but they were miles ahead of us.
Yeah, we weren't in it. We went 2 whole months without winning a game. And now we've gone 10 games and we've lost 7, drawn 2, or won 2 and drawn 1. I can't remember. But, when you're in this situation, you need leaders in the dressing room to stand up and be counted. Well, there's nobody doing that. There's nobody doing that, okay? You need the manager to be able to look at himself and reevaluate the situation. He's incapable of doing that. To be fair, the guy's nearly 70 years of age. It's difficult at that time of life, no matter how self. But I keep on hearing people say, oh, but we've got world-class players. They're not behaving like world-class players either.
We haven't, have we, Jace? Let's be honest. We haven't got world-class players. We've got 2. We've got 2.
To be honest, on tonight's display, okay, Sanchez.
Tonight we got none.
As much as he's a wonderful footballer, when he's on it, okay, how often does he give the ball away?
He's gone, mate, and let's be honest. Him and Mez are gone.
I'm Mesut, to be honest with you, Mesut can go fuck himself, because how many piss poor performances do we have to put up with? And if anybody puts in that box, okay, if you don't understand you don't understand football, if you don't understand Mesut Ozil, you're fucking gone.
See, that Sam even brought on Flamini to cheer Ozil up, and that didn't work, did it?
Well, to be honest with you, I'd rather keep Flamini than Ozil. At least he had a bit of balls about him.
Yeah, but his confidence drops so quickly, though. As soon as one bad thing happens, most of the team just drop.
He waves the white flag. Okay, he doesn't even make an effort. Okay, at
I
least
think
Bellerin.
he's used to not having to. With the career that he's had, he's not meant to be the one who's tracking back and running for everyone else.
Yeah, but
everything's
Danny,
given to him on a platter, isn't it? That's what he's used to.
In any sport, okay, it's every single player's job to defend. Okay, I don't care how feeble the effort is at times, because we all have those days. Okay, but he's the effort. He does not make the effort. You know, and that's got to say, that says something about the man. And I really love Mesut Ozil. That's the sad part. But today, you know, I mean, there are ball boys who had better stats than him today, no doubt.
The thing is as well, Danny, is and I know, you know, I can see people rolling their eyes already, but I'll give you an analogy of how you take a club on to another level. Okay. Paris Saint-Germain have got unlimited amount of money. They can buy anybody they want. They'll probably end up with Alexis Sanchez in the summer, by the way. They got unlimited money, okay? They got a player in Angel Di Maria who a lot of people remember at Man United and laughed at him. He's dog shit, right? He's not dog shit. He was one of Real Madrid's, you know, better players over the years. He's a player who can win a game on his own. Hugely talented player. Left Man United, was at the bottom end of his career, went to Paris Saint-Germain, reborn, looked fresh, was absolutely outstanding last season. This season, he started the season, he looked slow, he looked lethargic, he looked leggy, couldn't get in the team. He's been left out week after week. And then in the January transfer window, now I'm not saying that buying players is always the option, is always the right thing to do. And I'm not saying we've got the money PSG do, but they could have gone out and bought anybody in the world. Do you know who they went out and bought? Julian Draxler, a player that we could have signed 2 summers ago. Yeah. We had on our fucking doorstep, and we said, you know what? Not really sure he's going to improve the side. Sorry, no offense. I love Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's 5 times the player Oxlade-Chamberlain is. Has he got a worse attitude? Is he, is he a bit of an enigma? Absolutely, but he's a world-class footballer. Paris Saint-Germain went to Wolfsburg, said, how much? Name your price, and they got him. I think it's about 40 million euros. It wasn't a price tag that Arsenal couldn't have matched. And what they did is they not only did they buy a world-class talent in Julian Draxler, they went to Angel Di Maria. You, sir, are a world-class player, but you're playing like a bag of wank, to quote Jace. You're dog shit. You need to buck your ideas up, son, or you'll be on the first plane to fucking China. And you know what? Coincidentally, Di Maria's been PSG's best player in the last 6 weeks. Yeah. Why? Because he's been remotivated, because he's been told, if you don't buck your ideas up, son, you ain't getting in this side. And we'll play young players ahead of you. With Mesut Ozil, he walks in, he goes, hello, I'm Mesut Ozil, put me in the side. There's no competition. There's no challenge in him.
When he's not having a 2-week holiday for some reason, or not mid-season twice.
Yeah, people laughed at me when I suggested that.
But this is the thing, okay, what I don't get, okay, and what I really don't understand about Arsene Wenger at the moment is Arsene Wenger's always turned and said, you know, you shouldn't have quotas in football for homegrown players, this, that, and the other. It's a kind of global marketplace and leave the cream rise to the top. Okay, but the bottom line is he doesn't act that way. You know, all this business of killing Danielson's career, killing so-and-so's career, they either up their game with good competition coming in, or they fall by the wayside, and that's not our problem. And, you know, and people are having to go, you know, the Usmanov Kronk talk is there. We've had the money to spend. He hasn't spent it. You know, for all this business of Kronk at the moment, you know, I simply cannot see any way Arsene Wenger is at this club after the end of the season. I just can't see it.
Okay, I think he'll definitely stay.
No, I don't know.
As long as we're making money, that's all he cares about.
No, not after that, mate. Not after that. All of a sudden, the Champions League money's dropping off. No, I just don't see it.
They're not been linked with anyone, are they? If the board have any idea about how to run a company, they do know how to run a company. They'd be lining up a new manager already.
Yeah, but that's your problem. That's your problem, Dan. No, there's your problem. People sit here and they talk, you know, and they go on Twitter and or they Google the most latest manager. You know, I still see people sitting on Twitter to this day going, "Let's get Massimo Allegri. He'll sort Arsenal out." Have you fucking seen what Massimo Allegri is doing at Juventus? Have you fucking seen the football they play? Are you seriously thinking Massimo Allegri go, "Oh, you know what I fancy? I fancy a club that is
no ambition
all over the fucking shop. It's got no ambition, spends no fucking money. It's got dog shit players. It's got a manager who runs the club and a board who doesn't give a shit. You really, seriously, in your own plain minds, think that he would want to manage Arsenal right now? You're having a fucking laugh. Eddie fucking Howe is the level that you could get as a manager right now. And that is the reason Arsene Wenger says, do you know what, I might stay, because he loves the club. And unfortunately, this is unfortunate, he's dragging them through the floor at the moment. But he knows there isn't anyone else coming. I just can't see anyone else coming in, Jace. I really can't.
Chris, I don't buy that simply because, okay, not this summer just gone, summer before, he only brings in Peter Cech. That was his decision. That was Arsene Wenger.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as far as
no, come on. It's 12 million quid spent. Come on. There's enough money in the club, okay?
Should have been 120 million spent.
You know, I mean, I just don't understand what's happening behind the scenes. And, you know, there's all this talk of Gabriel wasn't his signing, Xhaka wasn't his signing, etc.
Lucas, did he want Lucas? Lucas, what, fourth choice?
Well, you know, I don't understand how that guy
does he want him?
No, I don't think he wanted him.
I was sure that, you know, what
he wanted Vardy, didn't he?
Yeah, he wanted Jamie Vardy. A player, he wanted Jamie Vardy, a player who was so committed to Leicester City that him and his other cronies basically got one of the greatest managers of Leicester City's history fired. Yeah, brilliant, superb mentality. Let's go and sign that guy, shall we? Fantastic. Come on.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
Come on.
You know, this is the thing. We'll go out. We'll get a top manager if we want one. Okay, but
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right, James.
But this is the thing. You know, Steve said on this week's pod, okay, and we had this chat in the group this week. You know, why haven't we upped our commercial revenue, game, etc. Well, Gazidis has been there 9 years. Why hasn't he done anything about it?
Because as soon as we make a deal that's nearly as good as the deal other teams get, they then go and renegotiate their deal, and they get a deal infinitely better than we could have ever got.
Dan, no, we haven't upped our team, our commercial revenue team to a level that it needs to be at. Okay, you know, we'll get the big sponsors because of the size of the club, etc. But it's the other things which Steve is bang on in what he's talking about. Why haven't we capitalised on those? You know, the shirt sponsorship coming in, things like that. We should already have somebody lined up. But you know, will Usmanov be better? Will Kronk be better? I don't know.
We're always playing catch up. When we were with who were we before? Nike. We were on about that maybe buying out the Nike contract so then we could move to Puma and get a better deal. So then we wait for the contract to expire. Then we go to Puma, and now people are talking about buying out the Puma deal so we can go somewhere else and get a better contract. Because as soon as we get a contract for 30 million, someone else will go and get one for 70. So why the hell didn't we just go and get one for much better than that in the first place? Like you're saying, we don't have the people that are there to do the job they're going to be paid for, and so we're always lagging behind.
Yeah, but you can't
let go of Nike and now look at their sponsoring.
Chelsea get more money than we do. Man City do.
But you can't compare us to Nike to Man United. Okay, you can compare us to Chelsea, you know, and we should be doing better. But the bottom line is, it needs to start on the pitch. We start winning things, okay. All of a sudden, everything will fall into place. You know, we've got a coaching team there, which just I don't know what's going on. I really look at this and think, you know, we had 11 players out there today, 14 if you include the substitutes. You know, they just went through the motions today.
Would you think that if Ozil and Sanchez were at another club, how that club, everybody would fear that club? I mean, imagine if they were any of the top clubs, they would be running riot there.
I don't agree.
5 games in a row now that Welbeck has played up front.
Mesut Ozil went missing at Real Madrid. Mesut Ozil has always gone missing. As wonderful a footballer as he is, as talented as he is, he's always gone missing at times. You know, Sanchez has had his problems. He hardly set the world on fire at Barcelona.
It's not even the personnel there, Jace, is it? I mean, we did a podcast with the very excellent Clive AFC, by the way, a little while ago. I think it's myself, Steve, and Jesus, I can't remember who else it was, Danny or no. But anyway, we did a podcast, and 3, you know, probably slightly overweight blokes, I certainly am, sat around the microphone, you know, for an hour and a half and very cleverly, and I think, in my opinion, articulately discussed the idea of different formations, of different styles, of utilising players to suit a formation, playing 3 in the middle. You know, I'm not I'm not blown away by Ramsey and Xhaka, but the idea of those two dovetailing in the middle with an Oxlade-Chamberlain, so you've got a balance and you've got something different. I don't think 3-5-2 is inventing the wheel, but Chelsea were trying a system at the start of the season. It failed miserably, and the manager just sat down one day and he went, you know what? Okay, I'll go back to what works for me. And he changed that system rather than trying to reinvent the wheel. And I often think Arsene tries to outthink himself almost. Oh, well, you know what? If I keep playing this same system long enough, it'll come back around and I'll find teams out. We're the ones getting found out, week after week.
But look at that three-man midfield: Ox, Ramsey, and Xhaka. First 55 minutes against Bayern Munich, Vidal, Alonso, Alcantara didn't get a kick. We played them off the park. And yet, what happens? We bring Mesut Ozil back in, who once again, and that's just nice and easy for him. He's a big bag of shit.
And how does it make players like the Ox feel? And the Ox comes in, plays in the centre, in the middle of those three-man midfield. And we have to agree, he had a decent game, didn't he? When he come on the sub against West Ham, he had another decent game. And he must think, I'm working my way up to the team here. Ozil's back. Right, go on, fuck off. Ozil's going to stand there and do nothing for 85 minutes.
Not only that, but what must a player like Alex Iwobi be thinking? And I know...
He wasn't even a sub today.
I know.
Injured, is he?
No, and I know Jace is not. That's not fair to say he's not a fan. That's unfair, but has been critical of his performances. And I know for absolute 100% certain on this one, Jace is not a fan of the cock in more ways than one.
I hadn't noticed.
But you know what? I'd have rather had fucking Coquelin charging around like a headless chicken and making some challenges today than Mesut just parading around, waiting for an inevitable move to somewhere like Fenerbahce where he can see out his career and basically, retire. I mean, and to go back to Alex Iwobi, I mean, you look at him and you go, okay, the kid is, the kid is raw. He's a raw gem. Well, I'd rather see him in there with a bit of passion, a kid who's come through the academy, who bleeds Arsenal basically, and who tries to make something happen, rather than just hoping it will come to it. And it's with Mesut, and I don't want to sound like Johnny Know-it-all because I'm not. I can only dream of doing things with the football that he does. But I get the impression with Mesut, it's all about it's mentality, it's brand Mesut. It's I'm known for the laid back casual footballer I am, so that's how I'll play the game. You can't do that as a professional. You look at like someone like Eden Hazard. He's not a player who you know for making tackles, for tracking back, for throwing himself into challenges. Under Conte, he does that because the manager challenges him and says, no, if you want to play in this team, you need to work your bollocks off. And if you don't, I'll drop you. And that's the mentality with us. I can't imagine Arsene saying that to Mesut. I just can't.
There's no discipline.
Anybody? Well, you'd probably go and give him a little hug and a foot rub and go, "You're all right. You had a great game today. Well done."
Where's Matthew Debuchy? I'm not saying he's going to change.
New York selling pizza.
I'm not saying he's going to change the game. He's not, and he's clearly gone in the summer. I mean, he was on the way out in January. Marseille didn't pay the money. They went for Patrice Evra. That was a silly decision, but still.
Mr. Holick is here. Have you any wise words, Mr. Holick? We'll read them out.
I mean, it's just where are these players? Why is Olivier Giroud not starting this game tonight?
That game had Giroud written all over it. Yeah. Long ball, rough and tough game.
Well, look at what Benteke did. We didn't. Most Palace defenders must have sat there and went, "Oh, this is quite."
Well, look at what they did. Arsenal are known for being good on the wings. Townsend a 9.2, Zaha a 9.4. Zaha a 9.4, Walcott got a 6.5, Sanchez got a 7 playing on our wings. I mean, they say Benteke only got a 7. I don't know how the fuck was Benteke. Maybe this is stopped after 5 minutes, but it hasn't. It's full time. But how did Benteke get a 7? I mean, Kabaye, it's his first goal in ages. Their goalkeeper was pretty decent. Sarko, who wasn't wanted at Liverpool, he may not be the world's greatest player, but fuck, did he get stuck in? He wasn't going to do any shit, was he?
Funny, there was no movement. He didn't exactly have a tough job tonight, okay? We seem to... If you look at it, we don't get... When we try to use width, we don't use it efficiently. We've got no movement in the box. There are no runners coming into the box from deep. Okay, so the defence doesn't have a massive amount to worry about. There's nobody penetrating from deep there, trying to get in and cause a mismatch. And even when we do, if we do get that, we don't deliver the ball in properly anyway. And yet we always leave ourselves, without enough cover at the back. We just cannot seem to get it right. You need the anchor to hold the defence, okay? We don't have one. We simply do not have a player capable of doing it. And we overcomplicate things without trying to get any real penetration when we do have all this possession. So instead, everybody's, you watch Aaron Ramsey. The great part of Ramsey's game is he gets beyond the ball. But he's just playing at the moment this horseshoe football around the edge of the area where we have nobody actually trying to get into the box, making the extra man, making defenders think, bringing them out of position. We're so easy to defend against at times. It's ridiculous. Now, I'm sorry, but we've played Coughlin. You leave me alone. We played Coughlin further up the park where he's just ineffective. He's just not good enough. Please have a mute, Dan. And, no matter what we've tried this season, the only time we've got it to work was against Bayern, in the latter stages of the season, so to speak. And yet we go away from it after having Shelny sent off and capitulated again. We need to be looking at the setups. The setup is all wrong. I mean, how many great games has Ozil played this year? Somebody answer me.
Handful, less than a handful. He wants to go, Jace. He wants to go, yeah. And when I posted a tweet a while ago, some information that I came to pick up, and I shared it, and I freely admit it was one of those things, and I shared it, and I thought, maybe I should have kept that under my hat. The abuse I got for suggesting that Mesut Ozil had sought talks with the club to secure or to make sure that he would be allowed to leave if the right offer came in the summer, and the shit I took for it and the abuse I took for it. And the truth is, it's clear to me. It's so clear that he wants out of the club. And you know what? Part of me blames him because part of me says, well, you know what? If you're that good, show it. Show it and you get yourself a big move that you deserve if you're that good a player. But another part of me goes, would I bother? I mean, I would. We all would because we're Arsenal fans. If we were playing for the club we love, of course we would. But, I do look at it sometimes and I think, why would you bother? And Alexis, he always tries because that's his game. He doesn't know any other way.
That's who he is.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that some of those players are playing, as if they've given up. And I hate saying this because I don't want to compare us in any way to that lot up the road at Chelsea. But it has the reek of how those players played under Mourinho when they wanted him out. It suggests to me that the players are saying, you know what, he's not going to go. Nothing's going to change. The only way that we can essentially force change is by putting in very limp performances and not putting it all out there. And it's the two fullbacks, and I would keep Martinez out of this conversation as well. Other than that, I mean, the rest of them, 10 pence worth. Absolutely. That lad, I'll tell you what, that lad, this is the last thing I'll say, I'll hand back to Jace. That lad in midfield, Milivojevic, I tell you what, he'd fucking walk into our midfield today. Absolutely quality, that lad. Yeah. And him on his own has transformed that Palace midfield. And yet we're playing, it's not just Xhaka. I'm not just going to pick up one player. But we paid, 35 million for Granit Xhaka? 35 million.
Yeah, I've seen him before. He's a decent player. Yeah. But the thing is, he didn't do anything spectacular. That's all he's doing.
No,
he's sitting there.
Did a very good job.
He's just sitting and holding.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's the simple stuff. It's the simple stuff they did well tonight, and we didn't. When have you ever heard, the Arsenal away, be so vociferous? As one, you're not fit to wear the shirt. And all 14 of them, are culpable to an extent. I've got sympathy for Martinez, Bellerin, and Monreal, but everybody else.
Listen to this. I was trying to kill a fly because the fucking thing keeps landing on my head.
Yeah, we heard.
Yeah, I forgot I wasn't muted. Noma's put, Arsene is stubborn. When things aren't working, he keeps at it to prove he is right. It's why he insists on young players for ages, or insisted, and why he's stuck with average players, keep playing the same formation. That's
but to be honest, but Dan, but to be honest, look, I got a slightly different take on that. I don't disagree with Noma, but when you're the manager of a Premier League football club, okay, and you've had such consistency over a period of time, you will think a certain way. You will have self-belief. You will have a bit of a Napoleonic complex. I ain't got a problem with that. But the fact that he's not accountable, within the club, is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I don't think it was a power grab or anything. The way it all fell out, Dean got caught with too many fingers in the pie and, trying to play double games, left. And there's a power vacuum and Wenger's taken on certain roles, which he should never have been given in the first place. And it's gotten to a place where he became untouchable. Well, you have to have a yin to the yang. You have to have somebody to bring you back down to earth and to question you. And, Stan Kroenke, bearing in mind he owns, was it 66% of the shares, whatever it is? Surely, he must be looking at this and have to take some action.
And do you trust? Jace, you can answer this. Do you trust Arsenal anymore to buy the right players? Because the biggest thing that I loved about Arsenal in the old days is he would find, a Nicolas Anelka. He would have known about, a Kylian Mbappe 6 years ago in the old days. He would have known about these players. They would have been signed. Let's not forget, he took Patrick Vieira out of AC Milan's reserves and made him one of the greatest captains we've ever had at this club. Whether you like how he left or not.
And he was 19 years of age and he was a sensation.
Exactly. We took Thierry Henry, who, let's be honest, was a failed winger at Juventus, and made him into one of the greatest centre forwards the game's ever seen. And that was the great strength that Arsene had. If you said to him, remember that quote, Jace, you remember this? What would you do if I gave you 100 million? I'd give it you back. I think the reason he doesn't want to spend money is because the truth is he doesn't really know what money is right spent. And the one time he's taken the gamble, the few times he's taken big gambles, Francis Jeffers, you could say Granit Xhaka. Who's the other one he spent big on that didn't work out? Reyes is another good example. But
Reyes worked out on the pitch. He didn't work out off the pitch.
Agreed. But that's a failing in itself, isn't it? Not doing your due diligence. And maybe he's looking at it and going, you know what? Maybe that little bit of stubbornness that he comes out with, it covers in the press. Maybe there's a bit of a weakness behind his head, and he's actually thinking, do you know what? I'm not sure. I trust my scouts to get the right players. I'm not sure I trust myself to buy the right players for the sort of money we're talking. Whereas he buys a Sonogo, and I know we'll laugh, but he buys a Sonogo, for nothing. If that kid turns out to be another Henry, he's a genius.
He's a winner.
If he doesn't, he's lost $1 million. What does it matter? And I think that's the problem. And I'm genuinely not sure. And again, I'm not joining the WOB brigade. But what I will say is I'm not sure at this stage that I trust Arsene to do what is necessary in the summer at this stage. I think the only way that he can stay now, I think the only way he can stay in that job now is if he relents to what the board are clearly suggesting he does, which is a director of football, a rehash of the coaching staff. We're on the verge of losing a bloody talented goalkeeper in Wojciech Szczesny. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy is a bit of a prat. We know that, okay? But he's one of the best goalkeepers we've had at this club. And the only reason he's gone backwards is because of the coaching. And the only reason that coach is in place is because Arsene wouldn't let him go.
But he's a talent who's had no discipline. That's the problem, isn't it? There's no discipline. Coming back to the point of signing players, if you look at, Patrick Vieira was a known talent who couldn't break into a magnificent AC Milan team at the time. You had Boban there and the likes. That was a tough ask for him to get into that team. So we picked him up. I know we signed Bergkamp and Rioch, but Bergkamp was a failure at Inter Milan. Thierry Henry was a failure at Juventus, but they were undoubtedly talented players. Now, I'm looking at this now. I think Arsene he's so hell-bent on fitting square pegs into round holes at times, and we've got to pick Aaron Ramsey to play out on the right when he's just come back from injury. Why? Leave the guy come back in a normal way. Francis Coughlin, we're going to give him a 70 grand a week contract. He's only effective at doing one thing. He's not a good footballer. He'll give you application and discipline in that holding role in front of the back four, but don't expect him to play a 30-yard ball to set somebody free. He's not going to do it. I genuinely don't think. He always had the structure before when you had the likes of Vieira in the midfield. You had Thierry up top. You had Sol come in the back.
Petit, Edu.
Yeah, but you could just add the player in. You could just add the player in, and you'd look better. Now the leadership has gone out to that side. There's nothing to build around. You can't build a team around Alexis Sanchez. Pointless. He's too selfish. You can't build a team around Mesut Ozil because he goes missing all the time. You can't build a team around Aaron Ramsey because he's always injured. You can't build a team around Santi Cazorla because he's only got one leg. Can't build a team around Laurent Koscielny because he's just not a leader on the pitch. He's a good footballer, but he's prone to rashness and he's not a leader in the park. So there's no spine to the team at the moment, and that's when we fall down. You've got no spine to the team, so whoever he kind of picks, you need to choose somebody who's going to come in and who's going to challenge you and become a leader in that team.
Just asking Mike. Oh, go on. I thought you finished, Jace.
No, that's the only way you're going to change things. You need to be challenging the manager. And, to be honest, I think he's done. I just think he's done. Watching him today, and we've seen this happen a number of times, I don't see how he can look at this situation and think, how do I change it? Because you've got to get rid of all the backroom staff. All of them. I'm sorry, okay, but there's nothing there which is working on the coaching side of it. The strength and conditioning of the medical team are a different kettle of fish, but you need people in position who are going to say, hold up, you can't pick Santi Cazorla against Rudi Krejci. He's had a tough few weeks, give him a rest. We know he's breakable. Pick him for a meaningless game and he gets injured.
Arsenal's relationship, because that's what it is. It's a relationship with Arsenal. It seems to me like he's the always forgiving husband that gets cheated on every other weekend.
Oh yeah,
and that's
his
how
wife is getting gang banged.
Yeah, I mean, he's filming it, Jace. That's the thing. He's filming it, and then he's taking the tape home and going, "Well, at least she's having a good time. That's what's important." And that's so painful to watch.
But the sad thing is, this is a guy who, whether you like it or not, he's the greatest manager we've ever had. And I don't give a shit about anybody else. Herbert Chapman's an absolute great. George Graham's a great. Bertie Mee's a great. But this guy, 20 years of such consistency. But his time is done. And it's time for him to bow out with a bit of dignity and just say, you know what?
Because there's still time to do that.
Yeah. And, because if he turns around and concentrates now, right, okay. So what has worked over the last few games? But a three-man midfield of Ramsey, Xhaka, Oxlade-Chamberlain. That's worked well at times. But you have to give them continuity and game time to find that rhythm. Okay? Forget about Mesut Ozil. Leave him on the bench.
Make a statement.
The rumours we've heard, and if they are true, I don't understand what he's doing on the pitch tonight, or what he's doing back in an Arsenal shirt. If they are true, okay, I wouldn't even have him on the bench. Just make him sit there in his tracksuit. Fuck you.
He tried that at Anfield. It didn't work out too well with Alexis. But I agree with you. I want to ask Danny.
But you. Go.
I want to ask Danny a question because he sat there very quietly.
I can't get a fucking word in with you two going on. Whatever I do, Jace just shouts at me. I feel like a naughty schoolgirl.
I'm going to shout at you now.
You're a good naughty schoolgirl, aren't you?
That's a horrible image of Danny in a tutu. Danny, if you were a manager coming in now, whether you're low level, top level, whatever it is, you're a manager. You come in now, right? Do you think that you look at that squad that we've got now, and let's just say, for argument's sake, you can keep any of the players. So Alexis and Mez have actually said, you know what, you're a new manager, I'll stick around. So you've got all those players in front of you at Arsenal now, and you've got all the coaching staff, and the board say to you, right, got to be honest with you, Danny, we are money-grabbing bastards. It's a fact. We aren't going to give you much. We're only going to give you, let's say, 60 million, which is probably roughly fair to what Stan
That's one player.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. But on that subject, would you be looking at shipping out the best part of half that squad, disposing with half that coaches and bringing your own thing in? Or would you come in as a manager and say, do you know what, I back my ability to get more out of these players because these players are just demotivated, they're just tired of the same stuff? I mean, where do you see it? Do you think that we have to go through, because make no mistake about it, well, in my opinion, when Arsenal goes, get used to more shows like this, because we will lose games like this more, and we will go through a Man United phase, won't we?
Whoever gets it will get 5. Well, he lost the game, right? New manager out. It worked last time. We went mental. But looking around the players, with Debuchy played 1 game all season. Jenkinson has 1. Mertesacker has played none. Ospina has only played 2. This is league games. And Santi's only played 8. And then who else is on here? Lucas has only played 11. Welbeck's only played 8. So, in Wenger's favour, he's not had a full-strength squad all the way through the season. But as a club like Arsenal, we should have ready-made replacements for the like of Santi. We shouldn't be down to one right-back who said at the end of the season is going to go and have an operation because he's definitely not fit, and Bellerin can't play to the ability that he is capable of playing. And then our captain, Koscielny, always... regularly. I mean, last season he was often injured, pulling the I can't remember what it is. It said, didn't Dom say he had some kind of
Achilles? Yeah, he's got a problem with Achilles tendon. Yeah.
So you've got all these players, and you think, well, first of all, if I'm a top manager, and then they come and ask me, do you want to be manager of Arsenal? Oh, how much are you going to give us for transfers? 60 million. Yeah, but or for one player? No, for all the players. I'd just put the phone down. I'd say, go fuck yourself.
Exactly the point I was making. Yeah.
I mean, all of that squad, most of them, you could probably do something with them, but I'd want to change the entire coaching staff. The only one I'd keep is probably Kwame Ampadu, because the under-18s are doing quite well. And Perez, whatever job Perez has got at the club, because I don't think they officially want to give him an actual title, because Wenger will not have anybody at the club that is more loved than he is, which is why we see the likes of Adams and Henry's with Belgium, and Lundberg's gone back off to Wolfsburg, and Vieira went to Man City.
Keep Steve Bold, surely.
No, I wouldn't. No.
Dan, hold a bit. Adams didn't work out as a coach, okay? I know. Let's be fair now. Vieira left us, so he can go fuck himself.
No, when Vieira was leaving Inter Milan, he had the option to come back, and there was talk that we were going to have him. But Man City, the ones that made the offer for him, and it went well for him.
Jace's favourite, probably going to be one of the best coaches in the world in 10 years. What
was the point in that extra season? What was the point in it?
Well, looking back, there wasn't a lot, was there? You could do a job at West Brom, though, Chase.
Yeah, but my point, Ramsey hasn't scored a single Premier League goal all season. He's only played 14 games, most of which have been sub games where he's been played out of position.
Because the poor bastard needs a change, because he's gone absolutely stale. He puts that Welsh shirt on, he's a different player. You know, I freely admit I've come on here and I have been critical of him, but he's given expression to enjoy his football at Wales. He's played in the role that suits him. And it's not just because he's got Gareth Bale, because Jace will tell you he's played very well without Bale as well.
Yeah. But this is the thing, okay? He's rushed back from injury, straight back in. Give him time. You got Dom telling us he needs to be brought back gradually, but no, he's straight back in. It's ridiculous, okay? And same with Santi earlier on the season. Why were we keeping on putting him through the grinder? But I don't think you need to get rid of half the squad. I just think you need to get rid of a couple of players and bring in and strengthen a couple of areas. If you look at what this team is capable of doing on this day, you've got a lot of very good players there. They just need a structure to play around. You cannot build a system around a 31-year-old guy who's had injury problems last season and is never that athletic in the first place. Building a team around Santi Cazorla is pointless, because sooner or later he's going to break. And it's sad to say it, but he's at that stage in his career. You look at Aaron Ramsey at the moment. Is he actually going to be playing, a full season ever again? I'm not sure.
Not at Arsenal. No, at Arsenal, it's not.
John's just said, give that team to Conte. He'll make them play well. I mean, that is a point, and he probably would do, partly because I don't think Wenger will go, right, you're this player. How do we get the best out of you? It's we're going to have one player, and everyone else is going to try and play around that player, and that player is Ozil. We all know. I mean, like back in the days when Henry played, I remember thinking at the time, it's not right that every single thing goes through Henry. Without Henry, that team was lost. And at times, we would have been better off. I mean, there's been other players like Cesc. Sometimes when Cesc didn't play, everything was through Cesc. Wenger's always had the one player that he wants everything to go through. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And at the moment with Ozil, it isn't working out. It hasn't worked out. I mean, he's having a great season for himself with goals and assists and all the miles that he runs and all that stuff. But it isn't clicking. We saw that by playing 3 across the middle. And he can't do that.
It's one-dimensional. If you look at the teams like, I mean, I know it's a bad example to use, but if you look at the teams like Barcelona, in fact, use a lesser club, a club I've watched a lot of. You look at Monaco. If Mbappe doesn't get you, Falcao will. If Falcao doesn't get you, Jamal will. If Jamal won't, Lamar will. If not, Bakayoko will dominate your midfield. With us, it's Alexis or Mesut? No, okay. Well, then let's hope for the best.
Do you see what Sean?
You look at right hand.
Hold on, bye, Dean and John. Love you, Dad. Don't cry, Jason. And the worst bit, nice hair, Kris.
Yeah, no, she loves it.
Love you, Sean. But you look at us tonight, okay? On the right hand side of the pitch, beginning the season, I wanted Theo Walcott gone. But to be fair, the guy has had a decent season. Okay, he's put to bed all the issues he's kind of had. And he's made a real effort. In recent weeks, he's been the only player who's actually got physical with the opposition. And yet, and we got Hector Bellerin now. With all that pace on the right-hand side, why haven't we tried to utilise it tonight? Why? It's ridiculous that we haven't tried to go up the right-hand side and really have a go at them. What is going on?
Talking about Allegri, we've heard that Juventus managers never usually stay more than 3 seasons, do they? This is his 3rd season. For me, they look like they look like a bloody good team who are going to win the league. Definitely, they've got a bloody good chance of winning the Champions League. Have they got Real Madrid or Barcelona? One of the two, haven't they?
Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah. Right. And so, do you reckon he would leave? Because someone's just put there he's on 3.5 million euros a year. He wants an ambitious project, doesn't he? There you go. That's what we are. We're broken.
If Arsene Wenger walked out tomorrow, I know I got a bit ranty earlier on. If Arsene Wenger walked out tomorrow, right, Max Allegri would. I'm sure if he was offered a club like Arsenal, I'm sure he would think twice. I'm sure he would look at it and go, actually, I'd be very, very keen. But I don't think personally that if you said to him, Arsenal's one option, or you can go to PSG, or you can go to an ambitious project, like a Monaco, or you can go to who else might need a manager in the summer? Well, Barcelona, for example. He's not going to think twice about Arsenal. He's going to go to Barcelona.
I don't know, Kris. Look, if you chuck enough money down at somebody, okay, they'll come. Look at what happened at City.
I think Luis Enrique is a more realistic option, Jace. If I'm honest, I think he's a more likely.
It doesn't matter who. It doesn't kind of matter who you go for, so to speak. It matters that whoever comes in, to look at the squad, to look at the strengths of our squad and say, right, I can use you in 2 or 3 different systems in these roles. Okay? We need to be playing next man up football. Right? Dom has said this time and time again, where you come in and you do the job. In any other sport, you come in, I'm going to play this position, I know the job I've got to do. Seem to understand that. And whether it be Allegri, whether it be Luis Enrique, I don't care. But you just want somebody who has the ability. Mustafi's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. Laurent Koscielny's not a bad player. Monreal, we need to freshen up certain areas and we need to strengthen a couple of areas. You've got a lot of very good footballers there who, if you utilise them in the proper formation and utilise them in the proper position, they will do well for us. We are an attractive club. We still have money to spend. Of course we have money to spend. You know, there's money there. And if you sell Ozil and if you sell Sanchez, you can go and get a Kylian Mbappe. You can go and get them. But you have to have the will to go and do that. Now, what's going on at board level, I have no idea. There's people with far more information than me. But there has to be the will within the club to say enough. So we draw a line in the sand here, and we fucking start again. And and the first thing you do, you get every single one of those players in a room, and you turn around and say, if you ever put a fucking performance like that again, you're out the bastard door.
And how exciting would it be, genuinely? And I know a lot of people would say, well, as long as Arsenal's there, they won't be excited. And, believe me, I understand what people are saying. I don't subscribe to that myself. But how exciting would it be if you got to the end of this, the end of this season? To be honest, I can end this season tonight, to be fair. But we have still got an FA Cup semi-final, which we might just fluke our way through. You never know, and these things can change in a heartbeat. We could go and beat Man City, and it could all change. But that said, the most we could get from this season is a cup win and 4th place. That's the highest I think any of us accept we could get. And I think if we're realistic, we're going to say we probably won't get either. But if we did get it, how exciting would it be if Arsene himself or a new manager came out at the end of the season and went, you know what, the truth is, we do need to make changes. This is a fresh lineup of coaches. We're going to bring in a couple of players. And as I said, I've said all along, I don't think it's all about how much money you've got. It's not all about how much money you throw at a player. You can go out and get a player for 14, 15 million who can massively improve your squad, not your team necessarily, but your squad. And you can buy players who can walk straight into your team. But if you go and do it, how much of a lift would it give everybody, in the summer to go, here's our new, you could do a lovely little promo picture, all the new coaches. It would just freshen everything up. And Arsenal is going to have to be told, if you want to stay, this has to be done. There's no question about it.
But it's one of those things, you raise the base, you raise the lowest aspect of your squad, and all of a sudden your squad's improved.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what you have to do. I mean, we've been banging on about this for years. Okay. You don't have a Thomas Rositzky who spent more than half his career at club injured, extended for a season. What was the point? Mikel Arteta, his legs had gone. I mean, Dan, you answer me this, okay? If you brought in 4 good youngsters for 40 million quid, right, and a couple of not maybe world-class, but top quality prospects for another 40 million quid, would you think that's a winner for me? I'd be happy with an average season to see them grow. No. Never mind.
New manager.
It doesn't matter who, okay? But you kind of know you're gonna have a tough season next season because these guys are gonna grow into the squad and what have you. Would you put up with that?
Well, it all depends on the manager. For me, the most important thing is getting a manager and changing most of the backroom staff because they're all sheep. None of them seem to be doing anything that they should be doing, and we don't get any better. We all thought that when Pat Rice had to retire from football, and we're getting Steve Bold through, we thought, oh, here we go, that's what we need. Get a little bit of old Arsenal, the old George Graham days back, a little bit of the steel, a little bit of defensive knowledge. Hasn't done anything. When was the last time we actually saw him up and saying anything? He's been told not to. Well, it looks like he's been told not to. Nothing is going to change until I think it's the owner. Nothing will change until the owner goes because
he's not going to go, Dan.
One day he will.
Yeah, but Dan, he owns 60+% of the club. He has no need to sell the shares because those shares have rocketed in value over the last number of years. Yeah, people are saying in the chat box, back. David fucking Dean brought Stonecraft the club. He sold us out. Then he went to work for Usmanov. He's got himself sacked.
He was asked to go and get 2 people to buy the club. And then after he bought
no. He saw the future with the Glazers he saw the future with the Glazers doing what they did in
and he got out when he knew it was the right time.
Yeah, but he wasn't like he went behind everyone's back and went, oh, I'm going to go and get some people to buy
he went.
No, he didn't. He was tasked to.
He went behind Fizdler's back. That's why he was sacked.
No, well, the way I saw it was he was asked that they wanted people to come and invest in the club, and he went and said, "There, these are 2 people that I've got." And then after that, he chose the wrong one to stick with.
he played people off, mate. That's the truth of the matter. David Dean's a shrewd operator. He's done great things for this club.
You see him talking during the Rocky documentary. I think he'd still do something for the club. I don't think he'd be welcome back, and I don't think he would come back. But people think just because he's 70, he can't come back. He's 70-odd. He's still as sharp as the day he was when he got the job at the club in the early 80s. Holic says he did go behind everyone's back, so that means he did. I must have misunderstood it.
Why do you not believe me? Why do you not believe me? I tell you this. I
don't believe a lot of the stuff you say because you're full of nonsense. I honestly did think that he was asked to go out and get some money and some people to invest in the club, and then after that. But if Holic says it's the other way around, then that's what it was.
And the problem with Dean is the game has changed a massive amount. You know, I mean, there's the story of the way he did the right D deal with Ron Nodes, and I'd give you £2.5 million for it, and blah blah blah.
Don't tell me that wasn't true either, because that would just ruin my day.
No, it is. But the truth of the matter is, the game has moved on from there. You now have the super agents and so forth. So
yeah, those
you need a sharp operator. But I don't know what you guys think, but you know, we are where we are at the moment. Okay. You know, I think we're all agreed Arsene's time has come. You know, I don't think any of us can see a way out of that. But do you know, with the Premier League premium on players, do you decide, right, we're actually going to get in an influx of young talent, which we're going to pay less for, or do you think we've got to go for the big names?
Got to go for the big names, Jason. I'll give you one example, and I know what you're going to say. So bite your lip, okay? Bite your lip.
Oh, good luck with that.
in the summer,
I know where he's going.
In the summer of 2015, okay.
Say Martial?
No, last summer or 2 seasons back. Sorry, we had an opportunity. Bite your lip, Jace, of signing Arturo Vidal. Okay.
I love Vidal. He's brilliant.
So do I. But so do I. Hear me out. Okay, he's 29. All right, I get that. He's probably in the stage of his career where, you know, it's not, you're not going to get any sell on value. Okay,
as long as he murders Dele Alli, that's what we want.
And that's the key. That's the key thing for Arsenal: sell on value. We sign players. I'm convinced of this, and Mr. Holic might be able to back me on this, or Steve might. I'm convinced that we sign players that, however old or young they are, have they got a sell on value? You know, Alexis Sanchez is what, 28. He's still got a very decent sell-on value. The same.
We should do like what Ferguson did in his last season. Fuck the sell-on value. What do they do now?
Buy players, and not just players who are at the top of their level when you sign them, as Vidal still is, by the way. And for those interested, 37 million euros. Right. So what's that in English money? What?
About 50 million.
Chris, add on 10 million quid for us.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, his wages are $7.5 million a year, which is double what any of our players are on. But the point is, Jason, and even you, whether you like the player or not,
he's on that at Bayern.
7.8 million euros a year. Yep, 7.8 million.
I thought Bayern paid less.
I didn't think they got paid much there.
Well, yeah, but bear in mind all the finances that Bayern Munich have got. It all comes through T-Mobile and all that, doesn't it? That's what funds their wages for the club. You must ask Drew about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, you sign a player like Arturo Vidal. He comes in, and I'll give you the parallel to this. I watched on Saturday. I watched Bayern Munich beat Borussia Dortmund 4-1. All right. Borussia Dortmund with the Arsene Wenger model. Young players, talented players. Bags of ability, but ultimately were bullied, were taken to the cleaners, and they were shoved off the ball. Ban away. And it was men against boys, and that wasn't because Dortmund's players weren't technically good, or they didn't run hard enough, or they didn't try, which by the way ours didn't tonight, but that's another story. It's because Bayern Munich have got a winning mentality. They've got winners throughout the spine of the side. Xabi Alonso, Christ, you know, Jace is more mobile than Xabi Alonso. He doesn't have to be mobile because he's a brilliant footballer, and he's a winner. You go through that Arsenal 11 and you tell me any of those players that are winners. And don't tell me
we could have bought it. We could have bought him for £4 million. Couldn't we?
Exactly. And this is it. And that's why I would say, yeah, is Vidal a bit of a prick? Yeah. Is he a drink driver? Yeah. He's of course he's a knob, but he's a fucking winner. Robin van Persie. The reason Arsenal fans hate Robin van Persie is because he went to a rival club and he fucking won something. And he went back to us and he went, you know what? You lot wankers. And he was right. He was fucking right. We all hate him. All right, he's a twat, but he went to Man United and he won the fucking thing that we haven't been able to win for 12 years. Or whatever. The
truth of the matter is, you need that right mix of experience and youth.
You still want youth, absolutely. Yeah. You still want the Alex Iwobis in your squad. But as you rightly say, Jace, you want them in your squad. And what you want as backup is, you think back to the days when we had Ray Parlour, Martin Keown, Edu, Sylvain Wiltord on our bench. What have we got tonight? Look at that bench tonight. It's night and day.
I don't know. I mean, our bench, I don't think our squad is as bad as that. I just think the setup is wrong and they're not playing for the manager anymore. And that's what you're getting. I think if you look at the first 55 minutes against Bayern, Vidal, Alonso, Alcantara were played off the park. They played off the park, okay?
You take the lot, though, wouldn't you? You take the lot in our midfield.
They're wonderful players, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But Xhaka, Ramsey and Ox played them off the park. Yeah. And this is the thing. If you get the right man in, you can change the situation. By the way, listeners, we've nearly got 500 watching after all that. You are gluttons for punishment.
you poor bastards.
Danny, Kris put a lot of effort into this. If you could give us a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. If you think we're shit, give us a thumbs down. We don't care. But
if you do that, Jason will just block you.
It doesn't make any difference if it's an up or a down. It's the number of votes that you get.
Kris likes a thumb up the box. Let's be fair.
I do. Absolutely.
Everyone should stop listening to you to rant on about letting me get a word in, and then see what they want us to.
Dan, which players would you like to bring in?
It doesn't matter. I want to get rid of the owner, then I want to get rid of the manager, then I want to get rid of the backroom staff. I don't think all the pro players are the problem. I think we've got our best squad in years. You can do, yeah. That won't take long. Just a wheelbarrow and some marshmallow, and I'm away. So, people in the chat window, what would you like? What questions would you like?
Yeah, chuck us some questions, and we'll do our best to pull out.
Sam, do worse. This is nice and cathartic.
Tyrone
has got a rope ready for me.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I'm gonna mute him in a minute. Tyrone says, "Yo, I shaved my balls, cut my hair, showered, just dressed. Thanks for keeping me company, fellas."
Beautiful. That's a lovely image. Tyrone, this is an important question to answer. When you're shaving your balls, is it one of those, the leg up? Or is it one of those where you're bending over and doing it from which way do you do it? So let us know, and we're intrigued.
I'm not intrigued at all. A grown man should never. Oh God, he stood up. I'm watching the delayed bit. A grown man should never shave anything lower than about here.
I disagree, Danny. Ladies love it.
So ladies can go away and count their feet.
It's a lot more. It's a lot more airy in the summer as well.
Oh, hairy or airy?
Airy. No, hairy's you. Anyway, question. Here you go.
Go on and read it out.
Thunder Road. For as much slack as Welsh gets for his beard, what the fuck is the state of Kris's hair? Thank you, Thunder Road. I've never been one to bow to the masses.
It's indie Kris. It's indie Kris.
It is. I'm bringing it back. It's like retro days, like the Invincibles, bringing it back.
Jackosaurus says, how would you guys be spending St. Arsenal Hangings Day? There's not even a word for it. That's how we're...
There isn't a word for it. I don't care. Tyrone's answered, has to be leg up. You get better between. I agree, Tyrone. Doing it from behind, you get awful. It's not a good idea. Pete Graham wanted to ask me, who's my Sanchez replacement? Fucking hell. That's a question, eh?
Why did you just go out? Who's the boy at Dortmund?
Dembele.
Marco Reus.
Oh, Marco Reus.
You got the young guy
actually dead.
I think he's gettable this year, but the injuries worry me, Jace, in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Who's the young guy at Schalke?
Goretzka.
Huntelaar?
Yeah, that's Goretzka.
Yeah, trouble with Goretzka though is he's another prospect, isn't he? He's another one that you could go one way or the other. Leroy Sané is the example of how it could go, or it could go all Reyes. I mean, I'd rather see us go out. Sanchez replacement. Are you talking? I mean, if you're talking a centre forward, because I mean, what is Alexis now? I mean, are we taking him as a winger again, as a centre forward?
Well, he hasn't played up top for a while, has he?
No.
He should be playing up front all the time. He is the new Henry. That's
Well,
what
then
he is.
Well, then in that case, you're looking for a mobile centre forward who can work the channels, and you know who that is, don't you?
Yeah, Lucas.
No, it's not. It's well, if you want to go balls out and you make a big move, then you throw all your eggs at the Mbappe basket, and you hope for the best. Which and I think he would be. I genuinely think he'd be open to Arsenal.
I reckon you two could get an hour talking about opening a packet of fucking cornflakes. Shut up! Right, Benjamin
answering
Martin.
the man's question.
No, you're not. You're telling him your life fucking story.
No.
Benjamin Martin says, if Ozil and Sanchez left, what would be your priority in terms of player recruitment and strategy game plan for next season? Forget the manager situation currently. Wow.
Well, Jace could do strategy.
My most important thing would make the players happy.
Hmm.
I think we'd have to try and.
I think we've been doing too much of that, Danny. I think we'll put the rocket up.
Go and say to them, look, what formation? If I took over as manager, I'd get each player in and say, fully confidentially, what was your best 11?
No.
Well, you've got to find out, haven't you?
No, you can't do that.
But that's the manager would know that.
Exactly. That's the equivalent to going into your job tomorrow and saying, right, what do you fancy doing today, lads? You don't let the inmates run the asylum.
Need to know. They know more about football than I do, so I'd have to ask them.
You could go in without throwing your teacups around.
Oh, here we go. They're both at it again.
You could go into a club without.
No shit.
You can make your changes without throwing your teacups around. You can come in and you can say, Conte laid it on the law, didn't he, with Diego Costa? He said, you're not going back to Atletico Madrid. Yeah. Suck it up or fuck off. And Costa went, well, if I'm not going to get the move I want, I better try a leg. But as dollars to donuts, if he doesn't do his job, look at Luke Shaw, Mourinho. He's gone out of that club. Now, I'm not saying that how Mourinho's handled that is good. It's not. The guy's a knob. But he has clearly said, I don't fancy you. He's gone.
So the answer to the question is, whatever I say, you two are just going to talk over me and tell me I'm wrong. So just move on to a wrestling question that me and Jace don't know about. Sam Dewhurst. Chris, did you enjoy WrestleMania? Do you ever watch New Japan Pro Wrestling?
I don't watch New Japan. I did enjoy WrestleMania, but it had a very flat ending, and it was a little bit meh.
Who won?
It was 7 hours, too long.
7 hours?
7 hours.
Yes,
it was.
Men in spandex beer. But
I went to bed at 6 a.m.
Oh Jesus!
Jace,
if you start from the back, you talk with tactics. You've got to start from the back. You build a solid defense, and you go from there.
Yes,
it's as simple as that.
I've heard that about you, Jace, starting from the back. But you're right. You're right. Yeah, you do.
Right. Brendan has got a question. I'll give this to Jace. Only Jace. You be quiet. Brendan O'Donoghue says, looking at the next remaining fixtures, how many more defeats can we expect? Well, there you go. Rest of the season fixtures, Jace. We have got Southampton away. Which
I got it off right here.
Huh?
We got United and we've got Tottenham. Oh Jesus! I'm hoping none. I'm hoping.
I think we lose half of them.
Twice.
I think with Sydney we might beat Sydney.
I think. We're not going to lose anymore. That's it. I'm putting my positive head on.
He's gone, people. He's gone.
I'm going to
cry. Well, as you're not going to answer the question properly,
take over the asylum.
I think we're going to lose half of them at least. We're going to lose to Man City. We'll lose to Spurs. We're going to lose to Man United. Southampton probably beat.
If
you not watched us play lately.
Yeah, but one game changes from week to week.
No, the only two
you've got to be positive.
Points in the prediction league was our Simon, Mr. Quiff, and Raj both predicted a Crystal Palace win.
Bastards.
Raj's a bad man.
Raj was knee deep in a trifle at the time.
He was. John has asked, odds of Wenger going before the end of the season. I need something to smile about. No chance.
Not for the end of the season, no, I don't think.
I'd
be very surprised.
It shouldn't happen either. Leave him go at the end of the season, and
it's not. Especially the only way I could see him going before the end of the season is if we got a pace thing against City in that cup semi-final, because then we basically got nothing to play for, have we?
That's the only way. But who's going to take over? over?
We'll bring back Stuart Houston, Jace. It'll be a great party.
Oh Jesus!
Bruce Rioch is free. He's not doing anything.
Rioch. Owen Coyle's available, I believe.
Yeah, again.
Yeah,
recently.
That's the Piers the Kent Morgan takeover, is it?
Steve Bold would take the club, wouldn't he?
We'll go the rest of the season without conceding a goal, and they will be scared shitless. Dan
Mike
says,
Keane will be back in the back four by next Saturday if Steve Bolt's in charge.
Dan says blood or fam.
Neither. It's ridiculous, and no one actually talks like that in the real world.
Jace Pippity Pong or Poppity Ping?
Crack-eye band.
Yeah. Tyrone says you never
Bless
shave
you.
too low. Maybe run a number 1 Clippers across it. That's too much information.
You gotta be careful with Clippers down there.
Mike says from Gooners in the USA, does this seem like a team that are playing or fighting for Arsenal? I'd say neither.
Does Mike know he's on TV yet? Should we out him at this point? You're on TV tonight, Mike. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Mike.
but
Yeah,
it's
Chris
quite-
saw you on telly.
It's really fun. It's really funny actually because they pan the crowd and there's this massive, really bigger than you, Fat Danny. I mean, he was fucking
Dare you.
huge. You know that picture of you when you squeeze into the Alsa shirt and it bits were hanging out all over the place. It was like that. And I thought, look at the state of that fat. And then I looked up and there's Mike behind him.
Facing the wrong way, screaming touchdown and high-fiving everyone near him.
But the best bit is Mike looks slim. It was superb. Hello, Mike. Love you. No, Mike,
Marble Hall
TV, so-
TV comes in with, I want Europa League. Nothing wrong with it. Guys, what do you think?
Oh no, thanks. I'd rather have crabs from John Welsh.
The only good thing about playing in the UEFA Cup is we get to play new teams. That's the only excitement because it's the
What,
same
like
shit.
FC Carrier Bag?
Oh,
Jeez.
imagine that, banging them 12-0 home and away.
Oh, it's Andy
Or
on the
Luke.
Gooniston USA account at the moment, by the way, not Mike. So
Is it Andy?
yeah,
Oh, Mike was using it earlier.
yeah, but Mike. Andy's just put. But I love the fact you're talking about Mike. Yeah, no Europa League. No, thanks. What we need. I don't know whether Jace agrees. If we don't make top 4 this season, which the longer it's going, the more likely that seems to be. I'd like us to have no European football next season. Look at what it's done for Chelsea and Liverpool.
Yeah,
I
that's what
agree
I
with
said.
you. I agree.
I said that to the bloke called George. He's from Romania. He delivered my kebab tonight. It's a chicken kebab, so nothing naughty. And he's a Liverpool fan. He's been a Liverpool fan since the Grobler days. He's my age. And he come in and he looked at the telly. He smiled. He looked at me and went, "You're fucking shit." That was at 1-0. So,
Oh man,
Mr. Holick says scissors as close as you can get, not putting a razor there. Apparently, because my mum's Irish, I don't say the word scissors properly, and I get ridiculed for it. And now I've got a tooth missing; it's even bloody worse. Mr. Bobby Chakraboody says, "Chris, have you ever gone full Dragon Ball Z?" I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure. I know what that means. I'm not really into
We'll leave that.
I'm not really into the comic book. John, I think John's in the
John will
chat.
know.
Mr. Welsh, can you fill me in on what he means by that? Because I'm not sure.
All right,
Bela-
Dean Gordon asks,
Yes.
Ex Crystal Palace fullback Dean Gordon.
I don't know.
Carry on.
Probably here to gloat.
Sorry, carry on.
You're fucking
There's still
idiot, bro.
420 people watching.
Poor bastards.
Jesus. Maybe
They're
they're
all mad.
They've had it fallen asleep and they just haven't got around to turning it off.
What was John's just gone full Super Saiyan? Yeah, anyway, I have gone, definitely. Yeah. What was Dean Gordon's question?
Patrick Vieira, next manager, yeah, you know.
No,
No,
get
no.
fucked. He's
Not yet.
useless.
No, not. Well, he's not useless. He's a very good coach, but he's cutting his teeth in a league that's nowhere near the standards.
I like MLS, and I think he's doing a shit job.
I do, but yeah, he's not particularly liked over there. I'll say that much.
No, especially after they got hammered. Was it 7-1 by Red Bulls or someone?
Last season, yeah. Yeah.
Jackasaurus says, does Chris ever shout? No, but tonight he's just...
He did earlier.
He's just gone back. He's just gone back on the last 4 years of his beliefs.
Earlier, he went full. The cat's been sick on the carpet, Betty.
I did smash my desk. Sorry about that. And also
back on everything you've said over the last 4 years.
I know I should apologise for naming someone on this spot. I shouldn't have done that. I do apologise, but
that way he knows who you are. Doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Even if he does, I don't think he'll worry that much.
Fuck him. Monreal or Gibbs? Mark Dunn asks, Monreal or Gibbs?
Long term, neither.
Well, if Monreal didn't have to cover left back, left full back, left wing back, and left mid all on his own most of the season, then he would be a lot better. He's fucked by the end of the first half, having to cover 4 positions.
I love Nacho. He's one of the most.
Monreal's head and shoulders of Gibbs.
Yes.
Head and shoulders.
Yes.
Gibbs
But
going
Gibbs won't
forward
leave because he's on the money.
What is he? 30 now, Nacho?
31, I think.
31. I mean, his best years are behind him. I love him. He's one of the most consistent players we got at the club. 31 years now.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, he's 31, but he's not getting any younger. Let's just go out.
Same
and
age as Cos.
Akib.
Akib.
Wilshere. Does he have a future at the Arsenal?
No.
Notice how no one gives a fuck about Wilshere as a player anymore. They've all moved on to the young lad at Everton.
Oh, Tom Davies. Yeah.
No, the other one. The one who scored.
Ross Barkley.
That's it. They've gone full Ross Barkley. That just shows that once you're in the limelight, you get nothing but grief as a young England player. Once you're out of the limelight, people don't give a fuck. Most people don't even know that he doesn't play anymore. He's fourth choice in a two-man midfield now.
And the thing is with Jack as well is that he's saying that he wants assurances from Arsenal before he signs a new contract. Jack, I love you, mate, but you're not being offered one at the moment.
The only reason they will offer him a new contract is so they can put a minimum release clause in it and then flog him 5 minutes later. That's what I reckon.
Or for the English quota. Quota as well, maybe.
Yeah. And if you can't get a game playing at Bournemouth, who are a really good club, and good luck to them, although they did cheat their way out of the Championship by spending the money on players rather than upgrading their stadium like they were meant to, then if you can't make that, I expected him to go there, and by the end of the season, I expected him to have 7, 8, 10 goals, 15 or 20 assists, be running that midfield and be the first Bournemouth player to play for England, not be fourth choice and sat on the bench every week because they've changed their formation and you're no longer a part of his plans. Sad.
It is really sad.
Everything rude everything.
Yeah.
My nemesis.
He's a hell of a boy.
He is.
He's consistent.
Consistently
He is.
consistent.
He's a git.
What does he want anyway?
Right. He's having a pop at me, bitch.
Oh, good.
It's okay though.
At least you can say sisters properly, and you don't even speak English.
She should.
Bless you.
Right, does anybody else got any questions?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to read one. Did you read out the one from Dean Gordon?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, I just found it. I'm scrolling down slowly.
Oh, no, that was Vieira. That was.
Oh, here you go. Dean Gordon says, if you were Real Madrid, Barcelona or Bayern Munich, how many Arsenal players would you get in your squads? They would get in their squads. So if you were Real Madrid, Barcelona or Bayern Munich, how many Arsenal players would get in their squads?
One.
Sanchez.
No, 2, maybe.
Oh, if it's Bayern Munich, then probably Ozil. They'll carry him.
No, not even Ozil. I think Koscielny would get Bayern Munich's defence. It's the way they play, the way Ancelotti coaches him. Koscielny is a better defender than Mats Hummels.
He's rash, though, isn't he? I mean,
he is.
You look at the sendings off. You look at the one against Lewandowski, okay?
Don't get me wrong, he's not.
As much as Lewandowski pushed off him, he's stupid enough to go to that position again. Koscielny never learns, and that's the problem I have with him.
But again, how much of that is the coaching element, Jace? That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, I think
for
a player that we basically dragged out of Lorient, a low end Ligue 1 side for next to nothing. I think he's been,
especially after only just been promoted with Bastia the season before, wasn't it?
With Tours, I think. Was it Tours he came for?
I think it was one of the blue ones.
But I mean, for a player that we basically plucked out of obscurity, he's consistently been one of our better defenders. I do agree, at times, he's been one of the better defenders in Europe at times. Unfortunately, he then does something rash and you go, ooh, that's the cause we remember. But I think overall, if you look at it over the whole term he's been at Arsenal, I think he's been, is it 7 million we paid for him? I think he's been consistently one of the best defenders in the league overall, especially when you consider what other teams have got and what they've paid for players. I mean, Chelsea paid to bring David Luiz back, didn't they? So
they paid to get rid of him as well. Those dodgy dealings. Karan Ravali has just said he just got back from the game. As I'm scrolling down slowly, I don't know if he said anything.
My sympathy, sir.
Yeah. So, Karan, anything? Oh, here we go. I feel sorry for our away fans. I'm scrolling. You might have put something else in there. If you haven't already, Karan, put some more in there about the game.
Dave Faber says, okay, Bale, Ronaldo, and Sanchez. I don't think that would work. I think there's only room for one ego on that side, and that's Ronaldo.
I tell you what, if there was ever, this is a bit of a sidetrack, but if there was ever a summer where, and this is nothing to do with Johnny Jolly Jugs,
I don't know who that was.
Karim Benzema
now I do.
is very, very likely to be the one that ends up leaving Real Madrid this summer.
Yeah, but does he add anything to a squad?
No, of course he doesn't. But it would be very typically Arsenal to go and get him the one season everyone's forgot that we were interested in him in the first place.
If you sign Karim Benzema,
He's Giroud with a bit more pace and that little bit more of a proven record at the highest level, but he's not for the money it would take to get him. I would rather we spent some money on a.
I'd rather not have anybody involved in blackmail.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that as well.
Especially with your history, Jace, he'll dig some shit up.
There is that.
Yeah, at the back of the bins in Blockbusters, he'll find some right old naughty stuff.
I'm not being funny, okay? My parents couldn't go through that again. Jesus.
I'll tell you something off air in a minute, Jace. I'll say no more. I just think it's funny that.
Here's one for you, Chris, from Guto.
I know you were going to read that one. I saw that one.
Go for Lukaku.
Boys. His name is Guto Clear.
His name's what?
Guto.
Guto.
Guto. Is it Welsh?
Think of the U as an I, yes.
Why don't he put it as a fucking I then? Stop noncing around. Have you seen that programme? The series called Hinterland.
But I tell you what, okay.
I'm going to take
the wee
I've just rang up today and ordered a new one. It's going to cost me about 1,500 quid. I'm paying for it myself.
You're a star, bro. You're the best name ever. Love you.
Lovely. Hinterland, have you seen it, Jace? They did it in English and Welsh, the same people.
Hold up here. Yeah, I have seen it. I don't really watch it. Matthew Ido. Fuck off.
I like the way he gave him that. He gave him the time to
I'm not mentioning the kid's name.
Fuck off.
Yeah, he's gone. Ta-da. No, I'm not fucking nonsense on this time.
Yeah, I did one podcast at DT, and he was all right. He was nothing like the persona that he is now. We didn't really know his Arsenal either. Me and John turned him inside out, did we, John? It was Liam's podcast, an Arsenal quiz.
I like
ruined him.
I like to see the good in everybody, and I'm sure everybody that has we put our opinions across. We try not to cross contaminate, but unfortunately, I do think that some people are out there for their own interests, and that's a shame, really, because it's hard enough getting behind a team that give you the dross we got given tonight. And you've got supporters, actual supporters fighting with each other outside the ground last week. I mean, that's pathetic, isn't it? That's not football. That's Danny. You really are something special.
Got the cunt.
Well
Harold
done.
Merchant's at it. Harold Merchant is at it.
Is he? He's talking in some foreign dialect.
I'm gonna join in with this Welsh chat and a vowel, a vowel, a vowel, a vowel, a vowel, a vowel, 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 vowel. There you go,
Carol.
There you go. That's the only Welsh word I know. There's one consonant and 72 vowels.
I think
it's Mochen. We pronounce it as
last of the or. Oh, no, that's Mohicans, sorry.
Well, Sam Jubilee says, I don't know who DT is, but I love hearing about the backstage Twitter politics. We don't really do that. We get on with every single most of us get on with every single Arsenal podcast. I mean, like the people, the Gooners in the USA, we've all been on there. We always try and retweet their stuff. And they've just had Robbie on theirs, and they've had they had Andrew from Arsecast on there. Everybody all gets on really, really well.
Yeah, but look, I don't care about any of that nonsense. Whatever DT is, I don't care. Good luck to the guy. I hope he's happy. It doesn't bother me. But when you're people, in there, it just, no, I've had enough of it.
It's a bit playground, isn't it? It's a bit playground.
Yeah, let's let him get on with it.
We all want the same for the club we love.
Yeah.
We should.
Stefan is back. He went about an hour ago.
Yeah, he's come back again.
Music Gaming 13.
Can you say hello?
He's having a lovely old time. Actually, I have got a little gentleman's nod, if you don't mind.
Might as well.
He followed me on Instagram recently because
I'm a big boy on Instagram.
I am.
Hashtag Kris Daily Pick or whatever it is.
Hashtag Kris Daily Picks.
Is that your back garden?
Is it dick pic?
Showed.
Yeah.
Is it
No,
dick
it's not dick.
pics?
No, it's not dick. Nobody would look at that, Jace. Let's be honest. Struggle to see it for the first part. No, he sent me a private message on Instagram saying simply this. This is a chap, Danny, you might remember this name. A chap called Andy. Used to be on Twitter at Andy M Arsenal. I don't know if you remember.
I'll say yes, just for the sake of it.
He speaks to Ray Fox, who you know well.
Oh, well, I know Ray. He's Canadian, isn't he?
I believe he is.
Yeah, we love Ray.
Having a chat to him, and he said we used to chat on Twitter quite a lot, but I quit a while back because I couldn't handle the negativity anymore.
So many. You see how many accounts are locked?
I know. He said, I'm only on Instagram for fitness, but just wanted to say hi and share my pain for what's happening at our beloved club. Hope this finds you well and hope the Pirates are doing well as well. So good shout out to Andy. And it is a shame that people feel the need to come away from stuff, but
Well, show how nice we are. We get on with this. Someone's Mr. Allenham V has put Askcast is the best podcast. Won't argue with that.
Nope.
Our very own Mr. Holick has been on there for years, and he still goes on there every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, secondly, he's put it wrongly, but football basically Arsenal. It's footballistically, tastically Arsenal. Yeah, they're all right. We've got Josh from there. He's going to come on ours in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're in talks of getting him. He said he can come on, but then the week he was meant to come on was international break week, and because I didn't realise that I booked him to come on that week, and there was no podcast. Just you and the radio boys all talking about radios or whatever it was. It's like Radio Rental's gone mental.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone saying about the Tuesday Club. For me, that is the greatest ever Arsenal podcast. Yeah, loved that.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's the one that Tom, formerly as Parish, does. The I forget what it's bloody called now. What's Tom? TGT, is it? The Good and Talk.
Oh, well, I didn't know what you're on about.
They do a good job. I think there's the one that Mems and
Same old Arsenal.
Same old Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty out there. And the great thing is everyone's got a different view, but everyone wants the same for the club. So, well, I say
some of us make a damn sight more money than the others do.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, it's good. And I've got a mate at work who watches our stuff. I'm going to give him a shout out because I can. He texted me simply this after the game. Shocking, no backbone in the team. Right off tonight, I think. Need major overhaul in the backroom staff. Kroenke needs to inject some cash. Rather worrying about this, bottom line. Anyway, mate, see you in the morning. Ta-ta. That's from my friend Dom. So, shout out to Dom. Me.
Hello, Dom.
Jock does his YouTube thing as well.
Yeah, very, very talented as well. He's our Jock and a lovely chap.
Jockey's fantastic. Go and watch. He does an unedited 10-minute vlog from his car or when he's doing the decorating. No editing, and just gets straight to it and doesn't mumble or fumble or fuck it up and doesn't swear, which is because I like full Jock on Goonosphere. He goes, fuck off, you fucking cunt. Goes mental.
That's the worst Scottish accent I've ever heard.
What a job you boys have done tonight. The only other laugh I had was down to Carragher. I feel dirty. I do a wonderful Scottish accent.
Really? Say something say a sentence in Scottish.
Howdy doody. Oh, do you know where my donkey has gone?
No, Danny. If you're going to do Scottish, you got Danny. You've got to talk like that. You've got to kind of roll your words like that.
Have you taken me a donkey?
You can't do it like any other way than brogue.
No, I'd like to do an accent that incorporates every other. Oh yeah, Tyrone's put peace out to the Goonosphere as well, who are they are magnificent, and it should be a crime that they don't do one weekly.
Isn't Mr. Stokes? Isn't he getting married soon?
Stokes! Yeah, he's fucking landed on his feet there, isn't he? He must be a billionaire or have a huge downstairs department because there's no other reason she'd be with a ginger tit.
If he's watching, punching, mate, punching.
Way above.
But no, I think that
she's not even foreign either, so it can't be a language difficulty where she hasn't realised he's a ginger tit.
The long and short of this whole kind of wrap up part of this pod is that we don't hate anyone. We might have different opinions to other people, but we do this out of love. We do this free, don't we, Danny? I mean,
yes.
we struggle some weeks to fill the quota of people, and it's difficult.
That's
it is
because
hard.
he couldn't organise a brewery.
Oh, Gimli's now got
Well,
back because
there's
Gimli left Sky and he went to Talk, and Talk were fucking shit. So for the last 3 months, he's not had a phone line. And today, it got turned back on properly because we tried to get him on with a Talk line and it kept getting cut off. So today, BT and Sky have come round, put him in a new box, a new internet and everything, and he's back on this week. Keith makes a good point. He says, should mention the Guardian podcast, which for general football is second only to the hipsters, isn't it, Chris?
Naturally, I was just going to say that. Very, very well.
How about those 5-star flippers? Now that is, and he's got a penguin. That's always got to be a winner. He says, "Cool. Look forward to listening to it, mate. You guys put so many hours into pods and shows because we don't have anything else to do."
Well, I do.
He wouldn't be sat here now talking over us.
Jason and I have better things to do. Well, not better things, but we have jobs. I mean.
Jason's too much for any one woman. He's like heroin for ladies. They can only have a little bit every now and then.
Or they just binge.
I'm not getting involved in this now. I honestly, okay.
If Jason had his way, I'd be calling him Daddy. He's got
Jace,
he keeps trying to chat my mum up.
Jace, I'm gonna send you something before we go. I'm gonna send you something on WhatsApp right now. Okay.
Yeah,
and I want you, and you can't. This is strictly between you and I, all right? You can't tell or show anybody this because it's private. Okay.
No,
I just want you to give me the first word that comes to your head when you see what I'm going to send you. Okay.
Gav might be on this week or next week, Mister. How can you have ALLN with no vowels in the middle of that? That's wrong. Is that Welsh?
I'm going to put a little caption with it, Jace, as well. Okay.
Gav, we still speak to Gav. Gav will be back soon.
Yeah.
73,295, the record attendance at Highbury. He says, see you Gooners next Feedburner. Go on, what is it you're sending him?
First word that comes to your mind, please. And John Welsh knows exactly what I sent you because I sent it to him as well. Come on, first word.
Destroy.
Thank you. There we go. I think that's as good a place to end this as any, Danny. So do what you've got to do. I'll share with you later, maybe.
Quick shout out to Corey Austin.
Oh, yes, Corey.
Yeah,
lots of pictures. Yeah.
Superstar.
Yeah.
And Sam says Football Rambles is a good pod. He's right. It is a good pod.
Just going to name every podcast in the stratosphere.
They're bringing them up.
Yeah. Times is good as well.
Where is it? FK is doing. He's now a dad and he's married and he's living the life and he's got a promotion at work. The last time we spoke to him, in fact, he sent me a message on New Year's Eve saying Happy New Year. And he does some stuff with Mems because Mem was doing some AFTV show like this one, so he's been on there a few times. But I know Mem's had internet issues like everybody does. So, Luca, cheers, very kind.
Can I just point out he didn't send me a dick pic?
You'd still be laughing if he had.
No, he'd be holding the phone going, what the? What?
He's getting it going like this, trying to expand the picture.
I've got to be honest with you, that would have been straight on Twitter. Straight on Twitter.
Well, if you could not send what I've just sent you, if you could keep that.
Yeah, don't worry. Chris, I just want your opinion on one last thing very quickly.
Here it comes.
Best strike rate in Europe at the moment.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Oh,
it was so painful.
Yeah, in fairness,
you weren't missing it.
In fairness, it is a feeder league. I think we'll leave it there.
I win. Just want a couple of things before we go. Someone said Arsenal Vision is another very good one. It certainly is. This week's podcast should be Mr. Holick, who's there in the chat box, and it should also be Mr. Fife, and it might even be Gav, because now that Gimli's going to host, I only have 2 when I host, so Gimli's going to host, so we'll be having 1 more. So I think it should be Gav or someone like that, because I don't know who's on the rota to come back on again. So that will be this Thursday, the usual time. Right, this has been an Arsenal podcast for the fans, by the fans, as Gimli likes to say, and keep your shoes trendy and your glasses on your head, as Chris likes to say. Home or in the garden, in the shed or in the bath. Put the wipes on.
Cut.
Oh, I got it wrong again.
You want me to wrap us up, Danny?
Go on then. Hold on.
Oh.
Shredder's there.
Oh, hello, Shredder. He's
Just
probably
World War
hammered
II.
by now after watching.
It's like World War II. He's turned up right at the end to claim the glory.
To
Right, Chris.
wave them off the beaches. Home or away, win or lose, ABW Radio, your place for Arsenal views. Take care of yourselves and each other. That means the same thing, but it sounded Jerry Springer. Hug your cats, everybody. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Get your clear, joke about you, Hwyl nawr.
Bless you.
Go fuck yourself.